Hi, it's Kirk, and welcome to another edition of Helix Studios Today. And for this podcast, I'm in kind of a quandary because I don't even really know exactly how I should introduce my guest. Should it be,
"Hey, Mr. Ross, can Cameron come out to play?"
Depends on the game.
That's a yes.
or should it be his actual real name? So I'll just leave it up to my guest for today. How should I introduce you? Who are you?
Well, it's Kyle, for this. So
Kyle's
fine.
Ross.
Yeah, I'm kind of living that life now that I'm retired from filming. I used to always go by Kyle, but I'm kind of in the process of assuming my real identity.
And one of the things that I think is kind of interesting, just a total non sequitur point here, is that you, I, Keith Miller, several of the other people, Casey Roman, we all have Nevada blue and white vanity plates. How in the world did this happen?
Well, I mean, they look pretty cool.
They do look cool, don't they?
I guess we all have good taste.
Except yours is on a much, much, much nicer car than mine. And you had a fascinating story behind is it a 2017 black Corvette?
It's a 2016.
2016.
It's a manual with
love a
Z51, if anybody cares about that.
You can't really drive unless you can drive a manual.
The story behind that was, if anybody's seen the movie Boogie Nights, Dirk Diggler has a Corvette, and my family's always had Corvettes, and so I kind of had it in my mind. I'm on the way to this award show. I'm up for Best Porn Star.
This is back in 2017.
Yeah, it was the 2017 CyberSocket Awards. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of big names up there, and I didn't expect to win, and I kind of told myself on the way down there that, okay, if I win this, I am Dirk Diggler. I'm going to get the car. But yeah, that was, how many years ago? That was like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Wait till you get to my age.
Crazy.
See how fast time goes. Talk about your drive. How do you drive?
I can be having the worst day, and I just get in the car and, haul ass, take a couple corners really fast, and it gets my adrenaline going, and it just resets me.
Speaking of ass, when was your last scene? I know we played in the clip there, that little bit from the incredible Vegas nights, available in a Safe for Work version on Amazon Prime. So that was 2019. That was a couple of years ago. Do you miss it?
Filming, it's a lot of work, so I'm pretty comfortable in my corporate role now. Honestly, I kind of joke about it, like being in the trenches, and I kind of work my way up. You have to, our models, they're doing real work. You can be on set for 6 hours or more. You have to look your best, and sometimes it's hard to get lost in your scene, and so these people are really doing hard work when you're filming. So compare, being on camera to just kind of sitting behind a desk and working from home, I'll take the latter. I do miss the fan interaction, though. I miss putting out content and then getting the reaction from fans, and people love it, and then, they make you cool art, and they reach out, and they just get into it. So that part I really miss, but as far as filming and all that, I'm really happy in my current role. So.
No thought of doing maybe a scene every 6 months just to keep your hand or maybe another part of your anatomy in the business?
I'm not really interested in that.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I might record something myself with like a boyfriend or something, maybe. But honestly, when you are working in the industry, sex becomes a job, and it takes away the excitement for it. For some people, for me at least, some people get really excited about filming, and more power to them. But I prefer to have like a more personal connection.
So how in the world did you get into the world of chickens, poultry?
One of my significant others and actually neighbors, it's how I found the house, is hanging out with him. He had chickens. One thing about Vegas is, it's all about the lights, and there's like a lot of concrete. So I just was really drawn to these hens because it's like very grounding, and you get out in the yard and you can work and like go feed them and kind of experience something that's so un-Vegas. You kind of feel like you're not even in the middle of the desert. I actually bred and I hatched my own eggs. And so I bred a silky Americuna different chickens. So chickens aren't just like the white chickens you'd think. Like they're actually
No, they're beautiful. You'll see a
beautiful
couple
chickens.
of pictures on the blog.
I just like watching them outside. It's kind of like a show, and my neighbors haven't complained. So I'm just rolling with it.
That's one of the great things I think about this podcast is you get to find out things about one of the fan favorite porn star of the year 2017. Got him that Corvette. You get to find out that he's also a poultry lover too. And I think that's one of the great things we're doing here. You started when you were really a twink. That's the name of the book about you, right? Were you 18 when you did your first scene?
Yeah, I was 18, like just fresh 18, honestly. I had just discovered the club scene in Dallas, and I was just loving the attention I was getting. And
Yeah, I
thought
bet.
it would be a great idea to film porn. And when I hadn't heard of Helix. Helix was still a newer kind of smaller brand at the time. I didn't think I'd get casted in porn because I was so tiny, and I was used to like Falcon, Randy Blue, like the big guys. And that's what I watched, at least. So someone at the club tells me, oh, hey, this site, Helix Studios, you should check them out. They have guys like you. And
Right.
so I applied to them, and I got a call within like 2 hours, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was really quick.
Helix has 3 of the key people that are women that work putting together the scenes that you see.
Yeah, we have a lot of female employees. We tell love stories, so it's females, they're good editors. It wasn't really planned that way, like let's get a female crew or female editors. We have 2 female video editors, and then our lead graphic design, Emily. But we didn't do that intentionally. It just kind of ended up that way. And
Now, Emily and you have kind of a interesting symbiotic relationship, it seems.
we do. Yeah, I've worked with Emily for a long, long time, maybe 6 years or more. Some tea about Emily is that she dated my identical twin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they were off and on for, I don't know, a year or something. So whatever he put her through, I've been paying for it for the last, so it's kind of, sometimes we can be a little more personal than professional on things, or like, she's more like a sister to me. We try to keep it, but we then get a lot of things done. We can hash things out. Emily's my go-to for like anything design-wise. Like I'm renovating the house and kind of like painting things, and she's my last check. If I'm going to do something, I'll always go to her. So, and I can always rely on her for like, if I'm having a breakup or whatever, she's like my go-to. So
Now, I think that's one thing I want to explain. Kyle started when he's 18. It's now 10 years later. He's gone to the
oh
management.
my God, don't remind me.
You wait till you get to my age. I give you no sympathy for that.
Actually, getting older is nice. I like getting older.
Only up to a point.
Well,
When you get too deep into daddy, it may be too
life
deep.
gets better and better.
I keep telling myself that. But I think you need to know that people say, oh my gosh, you go into the dungeons of despair when you do pornography. No, your life has been pretty good. You have a beautiful home, a great car, chickens in
thank
the
you.
backyard, a pool, a hot tub, and it's all thanks to taking off your clothes
I mean,
and being smart.
well, I'm kind of living my dream at this point. This is what I've been working so hard for since I was 18. I wanted to buy a house, and I was fortunate enough to buy something here in Vegas last December. So I'm kind of getting settled in, and it's just been the pleasure of my life. Like, I've been trying to find something to do, hobbies. I'm a homebody, so I'll stay at home. I like working on the house. I
But
like
you're
painting.
you're the fan favorite porn star. You're not clubbing every night. You're just hanging.
Yeah.
You're not at Piranha or one of the other clubs in Vegas.
I don't go to clubs.
Oh no!
I actually I stopped drinking entirely.
Oh, congratulations!
And that's been life-changing. So
Now, do you get recognized still? How's the fan situation? You get recognized out in public?
I mean, if I'm at a gay club, it's pretty common. My friends tell me that in Vegas when I go out, that people are kind of looking and they'll know that's
Wow,
Kyle Ross.
yeah.
I don't really pick up on it though.
You're a Cancer, so Cancers are always a little, although you wouldn't know it from some of the scenes you've done, but Cancers are always kind of a little aloof, very stylish, very organized.
I like things to be neat and tidy because then I don't get distracted. Like I get easily distracted if, I'll lose my thoughts if there's a bunch of clutter. So my move has been a nightmare, really. I've been trying to get this house organized for forever, and I'm almost there. I'm like 90% there.
It's beautiful. It really is a beautiful home.
I'm still trying to get some clutter out.
And you live in a great neighborhood. Well, let's talk about your story. First of all, I got to ask about your twin. Now, if he's an identical twin, when you guys were growing up, you guys had to have been close because you got the same DNA. Did you guys discuss sexuality coming up as a teenager or even a preteen? Or he was dating Emily, so you don't have to go into this to protect his privacy, but is he bi? Is he straight? Is he gay?
Oh, so he's straight. He's totally straight. And he has a girlfriend now that he's been with for a while. They live together, and they're really happy. Yeah, I mean,
when did you realize that you weren't like your brother and that you were attracted to men and not to women so much?
we had, growing up in Texas, we had a TV in every room, right? That's how Texans do it.
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
I just remember like Cinemax porn was on at night, and one of the scenes in the porn, I guess they had a shot where a TV in the scene was playing gay porn. And I was like, what? I was like so fascinated by it. I was like interested in it. And then I started looking up on the internet bisexual porn because I didn't want to look up gay porn because I wasn't gay. Right. And then I realized like, I'm just looking at the dicks. Like, okay. So then I eventually crossed over to looking at gay porns.
I understand that.
And then I knew. I'm like, okay. And I've never had sex with a girl. I've had girls, try to like do that with me, try to like jerk me off or suck my dick, and I'm just like, I just can't. Like, it's just not my thing,
I understand. But you had this situation because you're this gorgeous little young junior high school. Did you have like a fly swatter or something to keep them off, or how did you keep them from accosting you?
I just ran. I don't know. I still like to have female friends.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't end up like in a sexual relationship, so like female friends can be the best friends because it never gets there. So that's fascinating. All right, you mentioned that you have never had sex with a woman. Let's talk about your sex life, and you can find out more about that in the book Twink. I just checked Amazon.com, only 6 available left, so order today. There's some interesting stories in there. How much of that book is true, like talking about your mom and having her midlife crisis and all those kind of things, and how much of it is fictionalized? A lot more of it's true than I would like to be.
Really?
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of feel indifferent about the book. I kind of think sometimes like, well, what if it was more of a fantasy novel and it had like content that was like more pleasurable to read because it's kind of a hardship story. I kind of feel indifferent. I don't really promote the book anymore.
Oh, sorry.
but that's okay. That's cool. Yeah, it was just a tough time in my life, and I wanted to be really honest about things. We changed the names and location names, but I wanted to be really honest and open because I feel like a lot of homosexuals have a troubled upbringing, acceptance from their family. I mean, it's the standard pattern. So I just wanted to be real about it, and kind of because people just assume I have a perfect life, and I didn't. That I just, didn't have to work towards this, or like it was just perfect out the gate. But no, it's kind of like something you have to create around yourself.
How did your parents react when you're at 18, a very young man, going into adult entertainment? I mean, were they taken back? It sounds like they weren't as supportive.
Well, I actually came out to my dad at the same time I told him I was filming. I said, oh, by the way, I'm filming porn. And they obviously are worried about it. So I've turned it into a career over the years.
Right.
I don't really get invited to the family cookouts, honestly. But
you don't?
No, not usually.
Well, that happened with Travis for like 4 years. They seem to have reconciled. So maybe it could be something similar that happens with you. Or is that something you would want to have a reconciliation?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, and my family, we're all cordial. We all love each other. But I'm doing my own thing in Las Vegas, and before it was doing my own thing in California. So I'm pretty, independent these days, and I kind of lean more on close people in my life, like friends and significant others and that type for my loving relationship.
Well, I did see a picture of your brother. You two guys do look incredibly alike. How has your relationship with him if you're gay and he's straight?
Well, he lives in Texas still, and so being separated from your identical twin, it's tough going through at first because we kind of lean on each other. So I've had some dependency issues with relationships, and that's been something I've been working through and kind of getting better at as I get older. But yeah, it's kind of like having half a soul. So
That is amazing. I can't even really imagine. I don't know if the world could handle two of me. You're a little more laid back than I am. Speaking of relationships, I mean, your relationship with Max is just so well documented. And I guess some of the last intimacy scenes were that trip to Europe that you guys had. Was that fun? Was that a good time as it looked going to Europe?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. We did a lot of fun countries. We went to Czech Republic. Right. We went to Lake Garda in Italy, which was my favorite. And then Munich, Germany. And yeah, and we filmed some stuff. We were broken up at the time, though. We already had the Europe trip planned.
So that was kind of interesting. The sex looked pretty good. So you guys, would you say you and Max were faking it, or you're just such consummate professionals, or or was it still a little bit of that spark there?
Well, there was still some spark there. Yeah, I mean, we still love each other. I'm still sexually attracted to him.
Really?
Yeah, it was just after 7 years, and then we were engaged at one point. It's like, it just kind of became like we have different kind of outlooks on life. So.
How is it to still work with Max now? Because he's working with his current, as we record, BF Silas.
We work for the same company, and we cross paths sometimes, and it's like, hey, we might need to talk about something professionally, and sometimes it will turn into this, I'm talking to you like an ex thing. And so that has been a challenge, but we've worked through it and we get along. Him and Silas come over all the time. And I'm glad that they're getting along so well. And, everybody's getting on with their lives.
What's fascinating is when you think of gay adult entertainment, you think of outgoing macho guys, and you're pretty low key. And I talked some to Max. He was on the last podcast, a little cameo with Silas, and he's pretty low key. I would say almost to the point of shy. So the perception that people have of you guys when they watch you on screen is in some ways really not the reality of who you are.
Yeah, I totally agree. On camera, I'm this insatiable, bottom, just trying to really get fucked hard. But it's a performance. If I perform like I do on camera in the bedroom for you, I mean, I really like you. Because usually, it's like my doctor asks me, he's like, are you sexually active? It's like, no, I just lay there.
That's hysterical. I use that line. I like that one. So what's your relationship status now? You just kind of auditioning, or is there someone special? You don't have to name names if you
there is a couple special guys in my life. I identify as single now, but I have some neighbors who they call themselves poly. And so I'm kind of thinking, maybe that's kind of, I don't like the name tag. I don't like to label it. But there's, I love people. And just because I love one person or want a sexual relationship with them doesn't mean that I wouldn't feel that for someone else. And it's not like you or him anymore. This is 2021. So like these relationship norms that we grew up with, it's just not really, it doesn't work for everybody. So I'm just kind of keeping it open, no labels. I don't really want to be locked down at this point because I kind of just do whatever the hell I want. But I still, the people that I'm close to, I want them to, know that I love them deeply. I don't want them to get jealous or feel negative things about it. So it's been tough to navigate. It's not traditional.
And I wonder how prospective or relationships and boyfriends feel when they go into your office and there is an oversized cardboard cutout of you that's probably double your size. I'm like, that is one of the most interesting.
I have it hidden in the back now, right? But it's kind of because my neighbors, I'd be walking through, showing them the house. They're like, "Oh, that's nice." One of my number one fans sent me that actually when I started working out a lot. And so I kind of just keep it around. You get a cardboard cutout of yourself. You don't throw it out.
Kyle, you still look in poor condition now.
Thanks.
Speaking of that, how many do you know? Now, it's interesting because the talent I've talked to, most don't know the exact number. I think I'd have little notches, keep track. Do you know how many scenes you've done?
It's been like 80.
All right, we'll have the exact answer at the end of the podcast.
I still have, I'm really proud to have scenes still on the first page of Top Rated. I probably have 6 of those scenes in the grid still.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So, yeah, I'm proud of those ratings.
And it sounds kind of crazy, but I'm proud of these podcasts that we've got, and I think you can easily be proud of the performance you do, because one of the things that I think is such a misconception about what Helix does and other similar studios, both gay, straight, kink, whatever your thing is, as long as it's consensual, is that it helps people accept who they are, and it helps them embrace themselves. And I really would go so far to say it helps them love themselves more, because you see people who think the same and want the thing and realize that that is good.
I would say that porn, my experience when porn in the porn industry has been actually, it's been the most empowering experience of my life. When, people think, oh, they're making him have sex. It's actually, I was able to control the room with my performances. And also when people are sexually attracted to you, you kind of call the shots. But it's been empowering. I went from being like this kind of skinny twink where I'm like I don't really have anything going on, not very interesting, and then all of a sudden, people want to know who you are, people want to watch you, they want to get to know you. And so that was really powerful for me. And I've been able to travel the world and experience different cultures. And I mean, I've been to New York City a million times, LA a million, so it's just really grown me. Personally.
And of course, the person that would want to come and do it, some are seemingly very, very stable. And of course, you get a few that have some interesting, let's just say, idiosyncrasies and personal issues.
Some crazy boys.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to put it.
Well, you have to think about the type of person that would film porn and agree to come do that. You have to be a little bit crazy.
Oh my gosh, it's one of the big regrets of my life. I didn't actually, well, I don't know if there's a market for my age, but you never know.
I'm sure there is. There's a website out there for everything.
I got to get back into the gym a little more, but I'm working on it. So you have felt that this has been, as you say, a positive experience. People that are so against porn, my view, and you can comment on this, is they need to take a look at themselves in the mirror and find out why they are so afraid of people, no matter what the gender, no matter what they're doing, having a better time, chances are, than they are.
They're all a bunch of hypocrites. I think it's foreign to others. Depending on where you live in this country, you're going to have a different idea of what a relationship is, the societal norms of man and woman, or even if you're okay with gays or in a gay relationship, that whole household thing and kids. And that's just the norm, that's in a lot of places in America. When you're out of the major cities, that's how it is. And I think that it's hard to see the other side of the coin.
And that's why young men and women, for that matter, who can see Helix, and believe it or not, it's not all that much different in real life. Sure, it's a fantasy, but it's not all that much different in real life. They don't allow me or anyone else who's not actively involved in the production into the set, but it is pretty much legitimate. I mean, you're actually having sex. Are you think back, there probably were a couple you weren't totally in simpatico with, but were most of the time you having a good time when you were working and doing the 80 plus scenes?
I'm not really into twinks, so.
Not really into what?
I'm not really into twinks. So really? I like big guys. So in my scenes where it's like a big guy that's picking me up and throwing me around, that's the scene I get lost in. Or like the huge dick scenes are also like the easy scenes somehow. It's like there's something that's primal that just like breaks loose in your body and you're like, and like just ready to get it on. The cameras don't matter at that point. But with twinks, they're and the twinks have gotten more worked out and more college kind of looking. Isn't it called like
a thunk now?
A twunk.
A twunk. There you go.
I don't even like that word. I think twink has just been redefined from being this kind of almost underage looking. Right.
No one is underage.
Absolutely. Right. Whoa. Underage. Well, some people would perceive it as that they're skinny. You know what I mean. So now we're kind of more like a little bit thicker, college looking kind of, or maybe seniors in high school, but like our guys are they're looking a little different now. So I might have had more fun doing scenes with like that type of guy. And I don't want to throw off anybody who enjoys my scenes and no. But it was work. I was putting on a show and I figured I'm there on set, I'm getting fucked. It might not be comfortable all the time, but if I'm getting fucked on set and they're recording, I'm going to do it right the first time. because then we're going to do a good job and I'm going to get called back to do another scene. And
Now, did you ever top any of those scenes? You must have been
Yeah.
a couple.
Oh,
Yeah, you were
couple.
in there. Number in there.
a couple I've topped or like flip scenes, but I really, I prefer to bottom on camera. It's just easier. I can just kind of not worry about
The
anything.
biggest worry for tops, I would think, is coming too soon. You got
Oh, I mean, no,
No?
it's
not.
It's not like jerking off at home, or it's not like sex. You're on set. There's 10 people there. There's a lot of distractions. It can be overwhelming sometimes, but it's actually a challenge throughout filming to kind of get out of that mindset that you're in a room with all these people. You kind of try to escape.
Right.
So oftentimes, you know, you might have the sexiest scene partner. I might be really into them. You know, there's a big guy, but still during breaks, you're off to the side, like trying to find some porn you're really into, just trying to get your hormones going again. Because I mean, you know, you're on set and you're expected, like cortisol's flowing, like you kind of just have to take yourself out of it sometime.
No fluffers on set to help you out.
I mean, it depends. No, there's no fluffer.
No fluffer. What scenes of all these that you've done? What scenes, if you think, oh my gosh, I've done 10 years of these great scenes, almost one a month for 10 years. Can you think of one or two that just stand out? Yeah, I'm really proud of that. I had a great time that looked good. Not only did I have a good time, but the fans and the viewers, they had a good time too.
I think Vegas Nights, the orgy scene was one of my favorite, like to end my career with that. It was pretty nice. It just looked good. It was a great movie. And then my favorite scene is called Kyle's Anal Application.
I looked that one up. It was about what year?
2014, maybe 2015.
Oh,
so I'm super Twink Kyle. But yeah, this guy, he was just really manly and masculine.
Do you remember who it was?
Hayden Clark is his name.
Okay.
Yeah, he came and did a few scenes, but he was really masculine, kind of like baseball player type, beer can dick, and just like the video looks like he's splitting me in half. And that was one of those scenes that I kind of just got lost in. I really enjoyed filming. It's like, wow, you guys are gonna pay me for this? But it was funny because he identified as straight. And so he'd be off to the side looking at straight porn, and it's like after a few minutes, it's like, dude, you're rock hard. Like, what are you doing? Like, and he's trying to like play this, like, dude, the straight guys, I feel like I can turn them. You know, if it's like from behind, like, okay, that's the hottest girl you ever fucked.
Well, you know, let me just interject a little personality here. Personal information. I tried to be straight so long because, like you, women throw themselves on us. Women love gay guys. So I always give the advice to straight guys. I say, if you're complaining, I can't get women. I say, you just need to fag it up a little bit.
I've been Me Too'd by more females than you could imagine. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Women can be aggressive.
They certainly can be, you know, so.
It's kind of amazing. But the difference that I found between straight sex, I think I would probably be gold star gay had I been in this generation, because the difference between straight sex and gay sex for me is night and day.
But can you imagine though having a girlfriend and like she's just ready to go all the time, like, and you don't even need lube apparently? I mean, what is this, like getting wet? Like, I don't know how it works, but it sounds kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, right. It's well, I've discovered my true self, and it's really a kick to talk to you guys, because when I was going through some personal issues in life, I would almost have you guys on as Muzak playing like in the bedroom. And sometimes I'd fall asleep to you guys and wake up in the morning. And, you know, something tells me you guys, I'm not the only one who used you guys as kind of personal therapy during tough times in their lives.
We hear this a lot, actually. And, you know, we're filming more than just sex. We do, you know, we call it B-roll, or we'll do scripted.
Right.
Well, it's not really B-roll anymore.
No, it's actually acting.
Scripted content. And so we actually, as you probably mentioned in earlier podcasts, we're releasing these as safe for work versions onto Amazon and YouTube, and they're pretty popular. But what's happening, I think, is we have a lot of customers from middle America or just all around the States, you know, and they don't live in a major city. And so gayness
It's hard to find a release.
Well, it's just not quite normalized in their community. Maybe they don't know any gay people. Maybe they know one or two gay people and that's it, and it's taboo. So what we're doing is these videos of these attractive gay men living lives that are you'd want to be
Aspirational,
aspirational. You want to, it just normalizes it. And so I think people, we hear a lot like, oh, I was coming out and your videos, they've just made me so much more comfortable with my sexuality. And we love hearing that.
Yeah.
This business it's got a bad reputation for good reasons, or I understand it. There's a lot of bad players out there. There's this industry, the nature of it. We're going to have some crazy shit going on. But
I don't think you last 20 years like Helix has, unless you're upright and forthcoming and basically an honest company producing an excellent product.
Keith is very professional.
And trying new things, like with the books, even with this podcast here. I think that is something that kind of sets Helix apart from the competition.
The podcast was his idea, and I wasn't so sure at first, but I've been impressed. It's turned out really, really good. But yeah, working with Keith, I've worked with him for about 10 years now. I've been in a corporate role for about 6 years, and I work very closely with him. I'm the operations manager for Helix, and so I wear a lot of hats, actually. I do like the bookkeeping and...
What's a classic American small business success story?
I guess it kind of is.
I think it's wholesome. Keith and I were talking in the podcast last time. If you could have wholesome pornography, and I don't really like that word, I think gay adult entertainment, but wholesome porn, we've got it at Helix. You don't have the power dynamic differential that you see from other studios, which can be destructive and set a bad image. It seems like both players, most of the time, tops, bottoms, or if they're flip scenes, have pretty much equal power dynamics in most of the Helix scenes.
Well, to us, it's just another day on the job. We're releasing between all of our productions like 15 scenes a month. So we're busy, we're just working, and we have a professionalized atmosphere, but it's still very laxed. And, it's just another day on the job for people. We hold people responsible just like any other corporation would. We have the same problems that any business would have. And that's the main thing is, although we are a lifestyle brand, this is a business to make money.
Sure. But I think it helps people and makes money at the same time. If there's somebody who's listening who's 16 or 17 and think, maybe when I calendar flips and I turn 18, this is something I'd like to do. Besides, spend a lot of time at the gym. That's important. You got to look good.
That's always nice.
You got to look good. But what other guidance would you give as someone who started as an 18-year-old, now moved on with a beautiful home, beautiful car, as an executive in this industry? What guidance would you give to someone who wants to be the next Kyle Ross 10 years from now or 12 years from now?
I mean, it's all about what you want to do. If you have a vision that you want to do something, you can get there if you work at it hard enough. And for me, I had this vision. I wanted to have a home with a nice lot and space and privacy to have my toys. And don't let the porn industry define you in your personal life. That's one thing I've struggled with is I assumed Kyle Ross as my full-time identity. I got so consumed by Kyle Ross and I was doing only Kyle Ross social media. I wasn't doing my real identity like on Facebook. I wasn't maintaining anything.
Right.
And so that was my full-time identity was Kyle. So as soon as I retired filming and I stopped participating in social media and all that stuff, I then had this huge void in my life. I had not only these fans filling my love tank, but then I realized I have no personal connections that are outside of the porn world. So I created a Facebook, and I've had it maybe now a year or so, and I've made more connections than ever, especially with COVID. I've just felt so isolated. And another thing was I quit drinking because I felt like this lack of depth in my relationships, and I figured out drinking was really fucking me up.
I get, since he quit drinking, I now get text from Kyle at 6 a.m. because he's already up working.
Well, honestly, I'm probably up from the night before. Well, because I used to get up after 12 always, sometimes at 2 o'clock. And now I can stay up till 5 doing what I need to do. And I can still wake up at noon and I'm fully rested. So I just spring out of bed. But with the models, to answer your question, to finish with my spiel is, I would recommend just maintain your personal life, maintain your personal Facebook, maintain your family relationships and your, the friends you grew up with, all that stuff, because there will come a day when you might not want to be that porn star anymore, and you want to assume your real identity, and that day will come. So just don't forget about it, because that's what fucked me up a lot, and that's been a lot
Losing your actual self.
Well, reassuming that identity, I've had to relearn everything, and good thing I'm doing this before 30, because Kyle Ross is very narcissistic. You know, Kyle Ross is a little bit crazy, and is maybe not the best friend. So I'm trying to be, you know, a good guy, and not have this life based around sex, the sex industry, and knowing people through that. So,
do you have to love sex to have the job you've had for the last 10 years?
I mean, it helps. I think a lot of the most successful porn stars, they really are exhibitionists. They love being filmed. They just are horny all the time. They're machines, you know. Like Max Carter's like this. When I was dating him, if you just think about his dick, he's hard. He's ready to go. Oh my God,
I want it, even at my advanced age, I want it every damn day. It's every day.
That must be nice. I'm kind of vanilla these days. I don't have very many sexual partners. I don't really have hookups. Like, you know, I sleep with people who I love, and I'm not out hanging out in bars picking people up anymore. It's just not. Yeah. It's just not really exciting for me anymore.
Well, it does change your perspective once you do get in the industry. But I tell you, it was kind of fun. We interviewed Jeremy Hall, and he had his first scene out. That was a hot scene with Josh Brady, the pup play, first pup play.
They actually filmed that here in my house.
Ooh.
So that was,
but I tell you what, you know, just to hear his excitement, he's got that newbie excitement that he has, and be interesting to see. I told him we'll come back and talk to him after he's done 15 or 20 scenes and see if he keeps it.
I had a chance to talk to Jeremy at I guess we were filming actually some of the pup play movies, so it was a party. We kind of do both. We'll just have a party and film it.
Right.
But yeah, he seems like a cool guy. I'm glad he's on our team. He's like 25, but he looks
23 now.
23.
Yeah, but he looks
young. So young.
And what's amazing, he almost came to work for when 18 Boy was there with Max when he was 18. Boy, but a lot of folks checking the ID, I think, with him then. But that was the whole concept of 18 Boy. That was an interesting concept.
I had this revelation, though, the other day that, like, wow, you know, I'm 10 years older than our incoming 18-year-olds.
Right.
And it was just mind-blowing. I'm like, oh my God, I just dated myself, you know, but
imagine being me.
Things change. Like 18-year-olds seem so different to me now. They're like sponges. They just like are absorbing everything. Like if you have an 18-year-old visit your house or somebody in that age range, they'll kind of like leech onto whatever you want to do. You're calling shots. They just absorbing everything you're doing. And so it's kind of an experience, but a lot of these guys need guidance. And that's really what they're looking for. Like they might not get that from their families,
right?
So they, you know,
it is kind of a gravitate family.
Yeah. Well, they gravitate towards like mentor types, and you know, like with Jeremy, like I looked at his pictures and stuff. I was like, hey, you know, like maybe rest your face a little more. Or like we try to help each other out, and I like seeing young people come in and excited. And like Jeremy is getting 23, so he's kind of finding this gay world for his first time. He's saying he's having the most fun of his life,
right?
And that's how I was before I became bitter and old, you know. Now I don't really. That's the rare occasion that I've seen them. Like I don't really hang out with the models. I don't really. I'm not. I'm a homebody.
Well, so it sounds like your future is right here in your house, pretty much. It's an amazing place to be. There are a lot worse places on earth. Is that where you see yourself going, or maybe staying?
I will never sell this house.
Never is a tough word to use.
No, I really won't. I love this house. It's like my little slice of Texas here in Las Vegas. I'm 10 minutes from the Strip.
You are
5 minutes from the airport. So it's just, I have no reason to move. And if I want a bigger house or if I want to add something, I'll just build it. We got good help here. So.
Well, I think we may have outdone Travis for podcast length, but this is just so interesting because you're the fan favorite from 4 years ago. Anything else that you want to add that we didn't cover? He is a sweetheart too.
Just, be good.
Be good? All right, we'll be good.
That's all I got. So.
Hey, it's been great having you, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for all of us.
Pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Kurt.
Oh, I did check Mr. Ross' bio page, and there are 94 scenes listed on helixstudios.com. Check out a couple.